Over the years, a recurring question I have received is, what engine do you recommend? And I invariably reply, it depends, because there is no universal answer. Now, for many, this will sound crazy or ignorant. I mean, all you have to do is take a look at the ratings list and see which engine is number one, and that's that. But as you'll see, it's not that simple. Let me give you three engines today, and practical reasons why all three are deserving of attention, and why none of them can replace each other. And at the end of this video, I will show you more engines and why they too deserve attention. So the three engines in question are Stockfish, Leela Chess, and Power Fritz. Let's start with Stockfish. Stockfish is the most obvious choice in the trio, having dominated the ratings list for years, sometimes by a lot, sometimes by very little, but always holding on to that top spot. It's a tactical monster and a speed demon. And did I mention it's free? If I open Stockfish 16 here on my laptop, you can see it zooming to 5 million positions a second and reaching incredible depths of 30, 40 plies ahead, which is a full 15 to 20 full moves ahead. With such power and strength, why would any other engine even be considered? And yet, there are good reasons too. The next engine is Leela Chess. Leela first came out in 2018 and was basically the PC translation of AlphaZero, created thanks to the groundbreaking papers published by DeepMind, in which they shared all the secrets to how they did it. It is based on a vast neural network that learned chess by playing itself tens of millions of times with billions of positions, so that its sheer understanding of chess is without parallel. And while AlphaZero had some 25 million neurons, Leela has since carried the torch much further, with innovations in multiple neural networks, the largest of which easily exceeds 100 million neurons. This comes at a price, though. It is vastly slower than Stockfish, so much so that people who first use it wonder if it is broken or if there's something wrong with it. Here is that same position we gave Stockfish that had reached 5 million positions a second, but now with Leela. And as you can see, the sheer number of positions per second is a fraction of what Stockfish analyzed. It is going somewhere around 600 to 700 times slower, or rather fewer nodes analyzed. And yet, it is still completely able to compete, thanks to its incredible positional knowledge. But talk is cheap, so let me give you a practical example. This is a game that was played last year between a strong neural network, Stockfish, and Stockfish, both on strong hardware. In this position, the neural network uncorked the spectacular knight sacrifice, knight b5. And after c takes b5, c takes b5, rook b6, we can see the rook is completely imprisoned. It is locked in by pawns in front and behind, and the two free squares on the left and right are attacked by white pawns. So while white is down a knight, black is effectively down a rook, even if the rook is still physically on the board. Now, this is the sort of position that a strong human player would be able to see, and also strong neural networks like Stockfish and Leela. Now, if we go back to the key move and ask Stockfish, it is completely blind to the choice and will only consider moves such as knight b1, knight c2, or queen c3. Knight b5 is never a contender. If instead we were to start up Leela, it is able to see the shot within seconds. Now, Stockfish fans will protest that there are plenty of moves that it finds and that Leela does not. And that is completely fair. The point isn't to suggest Stockfish is in any way deficient, just that there are excellent reasons to not make it the only choice. So where does Power Fritz enter this? In terms of pure strength, it has neither the otherworldly understanding of chess like Leela, nor does it have the sheer brute strength of Stockfish with its insane speed and depth. Now, I will address this discussion of strength at the end, but the number one reason it should be part of a player's options is that it is quite simply the best computer chess playing partner there is right now. Now, back in the 80s and 90s, the great dream of PC programs was to produce a strong and worthwhile opponent to play against. Ah, the good old days. But nowadays, Chess engines have become so insanely strong that they can beat the best players in the world, even with a material handicap. And my smartphone would make mince meat of even Magnus Carlsen. So playing one seems more an exercise in self-flagellation. Enter Fritz 18 and Power Fritz. The publisher ChessBase has developed a special technology which only works with both of those engines, hence the choice, in which it analyzes your moves while you are playing it and calibrates its play to keep it interesting and competitive. So instead of feeling like you're boxing Mike Tyson while he has one hand tied behind his back and blindfolded, just so you have a chance, it acts like a fellow player of your strength, missing killer shots and even lining up some for you to find. Now, I've seen this tested by weak amateurs and grandmasters, and I tested it myself. And what I can say is that it lives up to the promise. But let me give you an example. This was from a casual game with it, and in this position it told me flat out, black is better, and bishop g4 is going to hurt. Yet it analyzed and analyzed and analyzed, and instead it played e6, which neither wins nor loses. It just keeps the game alive and going. Now, it obviously could have crushed me, but instead it kept the game competitive and fun. Power Fritz is certainly not the first chess engine over the years to try to be a viable partner to play against, but it is by far the one to do this the most successfully, and the only one I actually play against. So that covers 3 engines, all of which have excellent and very different reasons to have them and enjoy. But bear in mind, regarding strength, that even if Power Fritz is not the #1 engine on the ratings lists and is more than 100 ELO behind Stockfish, which may sound like a lot, it is still going to be over 800 ELO above a grandmaster and some 2,000 ELO above an average amateur. So does it really matter at that level? But that argument still brings us to the question of other engines. If you actually take the time to peruse the ratings lists, such as CCRL, which is Computer Chess Ratings List, you will see many chess engine names that are in the top rankings and that you most likely have never even heard of. They may not have the brand name power of a Stockfish or Power Fritz or even Leela, but they are still viable, interesting projects, invariably free, that deserve to be tried and enjoyed. So give them a chance and check out my ChessBase in Minutes video on how to install a new engine if you decide to. And that, my friend, is the lesson of the day. Cheers.